we're ready to make our graft union. This is a piece of cyan wood that came in your kit. Look at the buds. They're triangular in shape and they should point up. It's very important. If we put this on upside down, it won't grow. So those buds have to be pointing away from the rootstock. This is your grafting knife, and it's a very sharp implement. And I'm going to teach you how to use it where it would be really hard to cut yourself. That's something we really want to avoid today. It has a flat side and a beveled side. The flat side should be facing you as if you're looking in a hand mirror. I'm going to put my thumb right against the blade. From the side, that's not ever going to cut me. No matter how, it's when I move back and forth against that blade that I'll cut myself. We've provided in your kit a little thumb cot that's a protector. It's not absolute, but it'll help prevent cuts. I find that when I do a lot of this, I whittle away at my thumb a little bit. So this would be nice to keep a little skin left on. Okay, so to make the cut, keep your elbows fastened to your body. The less we have movement in our hands, the more accurate we'll be. If I do this work out away from my body, I have less control. There's more movement. Right up here, I have the most control and the most power that I can put into this cut. So to make it, put your thumb here. Now put the cyan wood in between the thumb and the knife. I tilt the knife a little bit and then angle it. The angle there is going to determine the angle you go through the wood. Now, the trick is, don't move your dominant hand that's holding the knife. Move the hand that's holding the cyan wood. Okay? Now I just pulled a little bark off there. I might put the knife at a little more angle and a little more force with my thumb and pull that wood through, and look, all my thumb is doing is coming in to rest against the side of the blade. Now, common mistakes, if you're afraid of that blade and you don't put your thumb there, you're going to get a little tongue on the end of this. That's not good. That is too thin. I really want a flat surface all the way to the tip. And I want a flat surface this way too. If we've whittled away at it and we have something that looks like a potato chip, it's not going to come in good contact with the rootstock. So we want very flat surfaces. We also want them to be 3 times the diameter of the wood long. You see that? This is just a scrap of cyan wood, and this is at least 3 times the diameter, and it can be more than, shouldn't be less. The reason being is when we fasten this to the rootstock, we wrap tape around it, and we want it to pull them together. If I have too sharp an angle, it'll push them apart. You'll see that later. Okay, this is a good cut. The next thing is to cut the rootstock. The diameters, the whip and tongue graft is used on rootstock and cyan woods that match in diameter. So you see here, I'm a good 10 inches up from the root, and that's okay. But right in here, I'm going to make my cut on the rootstock. That's a little short, not a problem. If I just come back here and peel away at the heel and do a little whittling, I can end up with a nice, flat, even taper. So I've got those both the same length, and we judged them to be the same width to begin with, so I think they're gonna fit together quite nicely. We can be a little bit undersized with the cyan wood. We cannot be oversized with it. If it hangs out the edges, it won't take. The next thing, we call this a whip and tongue graft. The next step is the tongue cut. What I do for this, I set this on the table for this maneuver, and I use my knife to visualize center. Then I move back about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 even, and I like to just wiggle the knife and apply some sideways pressure. Now this is counterintuitive to a lot of people because look, my fingers are here and I'm pushing that way. So be careful, push a little pressure, and then when you're in a ways, pull that up and open this cut. Can you see that from the side? It's ready to receive its pairing. So we do the same thing on the rootstock. I find center, I move out a little bit. And I'm trying here not to split with the grain. I am cutting back into the wood. So I've got 2 tongue cuts made opposite each other. I can fit those together, push them together, and there we have a graft union that will grow together. The more closely these fit, the more closely they align, the higher percentage of take you're going to have. So practice a little bit, use up that practice wood we sent along, get good at this cut, and you'll be able to make graft unions with the pros. The next step is to wrap it in your kit. Some of this tape came. This is a stretchy paraffin-based, wax-based tape, and you simply hold it on your rootstock with a finger, stretch it, and once it's trapped, once you've gone once around, you can really stretch this out and wrap and pull that really tight. Once I've gone over the whole graft, I turn it around, come back down, and before you're done, before you lose a little bit to work with, I pull it tight and rip the end off. What that does is seals it against itself. It's waxy, so it kind of sticks to itself. Now, I've got a bud here and a bud here. I don't need more than that on there, so I'm going to take that off. Cut it just, 1/8, 1/4 inch above the top bud. When these start to grow, there's even one here, 2, 3 buds on there. That's plenty. You're going to end up choosing one of them. But there you have a whip and tongue graft. Now, we're going to go on. Maybe I have rootstock or cyan wood that's too small for the rootstock I have. So here I have a nice big fat rootstock. There's a couple little twigs on there. And for this, so there's no place on here where I can line this up that the two are the same size. So I'm going to choose the place I want to put it. That's up about 8-10 inches from the root. And I cut that off square. Next, I'm going to make the cut on the cyan wood first because I need to know how long it is. Okay, so here we go. See, I didn't have pressure behind here, so I have a tail. I'll take that off. Let's make one more. Oh. Yeah, nice and flat. Okay, this one I still make a tongue cut. Open it up. Now, by simply holding these side by side, I can tell how long this cut needs to be. And using the other side of the knife, the tapered side now, down, I slice this off until I get the same width as my scion wood. Okay, I've got that. Again, I find center. I go back just a little bit. I make that tongue cut. And slide them together. The tongue cut is really there to keep those two hanging onto each other until I get the wrapper on. How's that? So again, it's a nice tight fit. The only difference is I have this stump end. We'll be able to cover that with the wrapping tape. It's called budding tape, but we use it in the summer for bud grafting. So again, stretch this out and trap the first tail of it and keep wrapping, pulling it tight, stretching out the wrapper. Oh, I tore it a little bit, but then I'm going back down over myself and then break it off. This kind of seals up the end of that stump, and there you go. You have a side graft tree as well as the whip and tongue. Okay?